What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Wisdom Wayne podcast. I am your host, Matt Velvet, and today we're going to be talking about sticking to what you know. But before that, it's whiskey time. Whiskey Wayne. And for those of you who are confused or don't know, I have multiple personalities. So, the main one is Matt Velvet, who is the host of this podcast. Wisdom Wayne, which Wisdom Wayne is the deep philosophical part of me. Wisdom Wayne, who had his own album, is the whiskey drinker, whiskey lover. So it's whiskey wine. So it's Whiskey Wayne time, and today I'm excited because we're trying something special. So today I have a bottle of Old Pali Road straight bourbon from the Ko'olau distillery here in Hawaii. And what's special about this is that it was like a limited run bourbon. Most of their whiskey, their flagship whiskey, is just American whiskey because they reuse their barrels, so it can't be considered a bourbon. So it's very special to have a bourbon from Hawaii. Who would have thought? So let's go ahead and get into this. I did do a tour of the Ko'olau distillery where they make this whiskey, and that will be up on the YouTube channel probably on Wednesday. So if you're watching this in a couple of days, it'll be out. But if you're watching in the future, then go check it out. So yeah, it's got this beautiful little bottle. It's I believe it's 375 ml. Yeah. So it's a little baby bottle, but I'm really excited. So let's go ahead and get into it. Beautiful cork pop. Love that. And then we'll go right into the Glencairn. Beautiful. So a lot of people are under the assumption that bourbon is only made in Kentucky, but that's not true. In order to be considered bourbon, it has to be aged in new oak barrels, made in America, the United States, which Hawaii is considered the United States, and must be more than 50% corn, which this checks all those boxes. And it's a straight whiskey, which means it's around 2 years old. So they're not a huge distillery. It's a veteran-owned distillery. I took the tour with one of the owners, which was really cool. He's very laid back, but it's a very small operation right now. They don't have a rick house, but they're looking to expand and get one. But yeah, it's really cool. The nose on this, I'm getting almost candy corn, some sweetness, some sweet wheat. And I know I've joked around about being a fraud, but this will get into what I'm going to be talking about today, sticking with what you know. I do have some experience in the whiskey world, but it can be intimidating. But I'm smelling some wheat, some, I don't know, sweet wheat. Kind of reminds me of like the sweet wheat 1792. And that corn, the nice candy corn almost. I don't know. Very good. Let's go ahead and taste it. So it's very caramely, nice and sweet. Not too much spice, which is what I look for in a bourbon or in a whiskey. It's very good. I'm very surprised because, you know, who would think that a good bourbon can come from Hawaii? But as I learned on the tour, the biggest star of the show is the water in Hawaii, which is filtered in the mountains through the volcanic rock, and it is alkaline water. So it has a really high pH. So it's very unique. And the barreling process is a lot different than mainland United States because it's summer here all around. And as we learned in the tour, there's a large angel share in the barrels here in Hawaii because of the tropical climate. So they're trying ways to reduce that as much as they can. So they've been saran wrapping the barrels and putting surf wax on them. So it's very interesting. Because in Kentucky, they have the winters where it freezes and then the summer, so it's like a nice balance, but here it's just summer all around. So, anyways, I'm very impressed with this. That's some good bourbon. And unfortunately, I checked on their website and they are sold out of it. It looks like they release it in October. But if you are able to go to the distillery, I think they still have more bottles of this. It is a smaller bottle, but to be able to say you tried a bourbon from Hawaii is pretty cool, I think. Because it's kind of rare. I think it would be cool to try a bourbon from every state. I'm not sure if every state even makes bourbon, but that would be a fun thing to do. So, the topic of today on the Wisdom Wayne podcast, where I share my wisdom and my stories and my philosophies and just do whatever I want. Sticking to what you know. So I recently had this realization after posting a clip of the podcast where I try the whiskey. I got some good feedback from someone, Danielle, who is USMC Bourbon Gal on social media. She gave me some encouraging words and kind of confirmed that I should just be leaning more into the whiskey. I kind of stepped away from it for a little while, especially after I left Jig's Liquor. So when I started with Jig's Liquor and started doing marketing and stuff like that, I kind of went in blindly. I went in like only a couple months after really getting into whiskey. So to share my kind of whiskey journey, it all started in college, my freshman year. And before my freshman year of college, I really didn't drink at all. Like, I had a couple sips of a Four Loko, and that's about it. Some rum, probably a little bit, but I never got drunk, and I never really drank, just sips here and there. So my freshman year, one of my roommates, I had an apartment style dorm. So there were 4 bedrooms that you could go into, then close the door, and then 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and a living room. And I had random roommates, but they all turned out to be amazing people, and I got super lucky. And one of them, even though he was 18, looked like he was in his 20s or 30s, which worked out to our advantage because he didn't get carded at the local liquor store. So he started getting us Jack Daniels. And so Jack Daniels was my introduction into whiskey. And I would drink Jack and Coke, and I loved it. And that's pretty much what I drank all through college. When I got out of college and went back home, I switched up to Maker's Mark. So I was drinking Makers and Coke. And finally, when I was like 27, so not even that long ago, I tried some Buffalo Trace. And I didn't really like it. I had it on the rocks too, and I didn't like it. I thought it was too strong. So I was like, I don't know about that. And then, I can't remember exactly when, but I eventually got the bug and started going on the hunt for whiskeys, bourbons, stuff like that. And I just became obsessed with it. And I found this community of people who love whiskey and are knowledgeable about it and share about it online and on social media. And I just was so drawn to it. And I made a lot of cool connections of people I still talk to today, and people who have grown their accounts so much over the past couple years. but they're still so down to earth that they'll still interact with me and like my stuff, and that means so much to me because it shows they're real genuine people and not just, like trying to make a buck or something. So, I was involved shortly after starting my collecting phase and my, hunting phase. I met Jigs and I had a background in marketing. So, there was this opportunity for me to do marketing, help with whiskey picks, single barrel picks, and to be involved in that kind of area. So, I did a proposal to him and all that, and I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I learned a lot about mash bills and, different taste tasting notes and stuff like that. Um, but the one area that I felt insecure about was when Jigs will want me to share the flavor profile, like the notes on the nose and the palate and the finish, because I was like, I don't like, I would see all these things of like all these different notes, and I'm like, how are you getting all this out of it? Like, there are certain notes I can pick up on, and sometimes it's better than others. Like, sometimes my palate is more, like, I can pick up more flavors than other times for whatever reason. But I can pick up on banana notes, chocolate notes, spices, but some of the stuff I'm just like, I do not see that at all. And then like some things, like I can't even think of what that would even taste like like Tootsie Rolls. I've heard someone say Tootsie Roll. I can't even think of what a Tootsie Roll tastes like right now. um and baking spices, like, what does that taste like, and I also overthink things a lot, so that's probably part of it. But yeah, I don't want to discredit myself completely because I am fairly knowledgeable. I'm able to give people advice or suggestions, and I love doing that. And you know, I can categorize by weededs or ryes or, you know, I don't know. But this is really good. It's got just like that sweet wheat. Reminds me of like horses. like like that, just like being on a horse farm and smelling that fresh hay. It smells really sweet. Just like really nostalgic. My cousin was a barrel racer when she was younger, and I used to go visit the horse that she had, and I would ride the horse. Her name was Cricket, and it was very fun. She was an older horse, so she wasn't as wild, so I felt comfortable riding her. But yeah, kind of brings me back to that. It's kind of crazy how whiskey can like be so much more than just a spirit. It can be like something that helps you remember something from the past. It's often shared with friends. I've had so many people share whiskey with me. I've shared whiskey with others. Actually, I do have a story, and I thought about doing a whole video on just dating in 2025 because it's crazy, especially as a gay man. On Grindr and Tinder, it's wild. It's really wild. But I was talking to this guy and told him I was sipping on whiskey, and he asked what kind of whiskey I was sipping on, and I made these old fashions that I got the recipe from the Koala'u distillery, and bought all the ingredients and made them at home. It's super super good. and it's like a little out of what I would normally go for, but I really love it. It's their flagship whiskey, the Old Pali Road, and macadamia nut, simple syrup, chocolate bitters, and that's it. I didn't put orange peels or cherries because when I'm making them at home, I'm like, I don't really find it necessary. If I'm like entertaining or, doing something special, then I'll garnish them. But when I'm just at home enjoying them, I see no point in it personally. So, anyways, I told him that I was sipping on the Old Polly Road, which is made here. And sometimes when people ask me what my favorite whiskey is or what whiskey I like, I feel like I don't even want to tell them what it actually is because they're not even going to know what I'm talking about. They're going to, they're expecting an answer like Maker's Mark or Johnny Walker or something like that. But I told him the Old Polly Road and that I ran out of that, so I was switching over to the Blantons that I got. And he was like, "Oh, Blantons. Oh, you're fancy, huh?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's kind of part of my job. This is kind of my job right now because I'm unemployed and I'm treating this as a job and I love it. So keep on following, subscribing, sharing so that I can make this my actual job. Thank you." Anyways, I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of like my job." And he was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "What's your favorite whiskey?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you now because you're the professional." I'm like, "Oh, no, no, no. I don't judge." Um, and I feel like there's two types of whiskey people. There's like the douchey ones that see whiskey as a status symbol and look down on people who don't have the collections they have. And then there's the people that I'm a part of, in the community I'm a part of, who could care less about how you drink your whiskey. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you like. However you like it is the best way to drink it. So I'm more into that category. So I was like, yeah, no judgment. I'm just curious. I was expecting him to say like Maker's Mark or like Crown Royal or something, which is fine. And he's like, "Oh, I like the Red Weller." I'm like, "Oh, the Weller Antique 107. That's your favorite whiskey. Okay." I'm like, first of all, where do you get it? Second of all, how much do you pay for it? And if that's like your go-to whiskey, that's kind of crazy. That's a really good whiskey. I really enjoy it, but I live in Florida and it's almost impossible to get. So I don't really hunt it down. And when I've seen it in stores like in Kentucky, it's like secondary prices. So I don't really care to pay that. If it's in a restaurant or something or at a bar, I will get a pour of it. I've gotten pours of the foolproof in Kentucky, like a single barrel foolproof that was really, really good. They just didn't sell the bottle, and I was like, whatever. So I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's a good whiskey. But I just don't really care for people trying to impress me with whiskey. I would be more impressed if he said, "Oh, my favorite's like Old Elk Weeded Picks," because that's one of my favorites. Or like something, like that, along those lines. I don't know. Anyways, so moving forward, and I just posted my video about the Blantons, and it's doing really well. Out of all the recent videos I posted, it's doing really well. And it's kind of like a confirmation from the universe to tell me to go back to my roots and what I know, sticking to what you know, whiskey. And I didn't go away from whiskey because I didn't enjoy it. It was because I felt intimidated, but I'm getting to this place where I'm finding my own niche and doing just doing me and being honest and being open and, being more transparent. Because before, when I was going into whiskey influencing, it was very forced, and that's all on me. Um, but I'm finding this way to incorporate my authentic self with my passion and what I enjoy, and doing it in a way that feels natural and normal to me, and hopefully everyone else will love it. And if they don't, then whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at. Um, yeah, these are nice. I love doing these little podcasts because it feels like a therapy session. I can get everything off my chest and force you to watch it. But yeah, if you're in Hawaii or if you're planning on coming to Hawaii, try to get some of this. It's very unique and it's very, very good, very flavorful. That's the back of the label. Yeah, focus in on that. I love the label too. The other one's like a light blue, which is very Hawaii, but this is more of my kind of color palette, my aesthetic. The dark, almost black with the gold. I love that. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot more content this week from the Ko'olau distillery. I did a video for social media, talking about the history and kind of explaining it, kind of inspired by Miss Bourbon Gal, USMC Bourbon Gal. I love her videos where she does like story times and tells the history of whiskey brands. Those are my absolute favorite. And her voice is so soothing, and I just love it. So I kind of channeled her a little bit. And then I did another old fashioned video where I made the old fashioned that I tried at the distillery. And the last one I made was just like kind of a joke, but it did really well on YouTube Shorts and on social media. So maybe I'll start doing more of those. I don't know. I love trying different old fashions. Every time I go to a restaurant, I love getting an old fashioned, and I judge them very harshly. And I will admit that I do. If they don't have the clear ice, it's like, ugh. If they have crushed ice, or if they muddle the fruit, it's disappointing. But I've had some very good old fashions here, and it's such a simple drink and one of the like classic drinks, but if you do it right, you do it right, and it tastes super, super good. And you can also mess it up. So I feel like I make good old fashions. But yeah, that's just my opinion. And everyone has their own opinion. So however you like to drink your whiskey is totally fine by me. This is a safe space for whiskey drinkers. Yeah. Check me out on social media. Follow me at Matt Velvet Official. Matt Velvet. Yeah. I'm really enjoying Hawaii. Still deciding if I want to move here or not. I'll be honest, I'm currently leaning towards not moving here, which is why I'm glad I went this route, staying a couple months to feel it out before signing a year-long contract or lease, whatever. I'm feeling drawn to either travel, be a nomad, or possibly move to Kentucky and really go all in with the whiskey. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I will slay. That's a line from the Whiskey Wayne album. If you haven't heard it, go check it out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever. Yeah. Life is good. Life is good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the time I have here, and I'm so glad I went to this distillery because it's such a unique experience. I'll probably never be able to get this again because it is very limited release. This is the biggest size they make of it, 375 milliliter, which is a tiny, tiny bottle. So I'm going to enjoy this and enjoy the rest of my evening, and I hope you do the same. Cheers.
All I ever really wanted was my story to be told.